How's it going out there today, boys and girls in sporting land? Once again, this is J&J Outlaw Sports, the home of the Common Joe and Common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. In today's class, I come across something this morning from one John Kurtz. Love watching me some John Kurtz. Good podcast. Check that man out. But today, John had a topic that really enlightened me and really made me think about something that happened a few years back that may come back into play and may shake up this whole alliance thing in a way. Now, John outlined a few things that we already know about the Pac-12 as far as their poor attendance the last 4 or 5 years in games and whatnot. But what really dawned upon me was the fact that the Big 12 could possibly now go after the Pac-12. Everybody was thinking about the Pac-12, absorbing the Big 12. But the Pac-12 went out and made their little alliance bed with the Big X and the ACC. And they exiled the Big 12 in a way. The SEC didn't really care if they got invited to the little He-Man Woman Haters Club or not. To steal a phrase from the Little Rascals. So now the Big 12's been sort of exiled by the other three, and they really don't like the SEC either because they took their 2 cash cows. But the Big 12 has nothing to lose at this point. And the Arizona schools have, for the last few years, there's been some rumblings that they are not very happy with the left coast states, California schools, Oregon, and Washington schools. So, my proposal to the Big 12 is why not fill these teams out? All they can do is say what? No. Fine. Say no. But at least contact them. And you're like, well, they probably won't want to go to a Big 12. They don't think the Big 12 is going to survive. But the Big 12 can actually present them with the option of, hey, let's start something new, something great, something that can compete and get you a better TV market, get you a better TV deal. Because the TV deal that the Pac-12 has been saddled with the last few years has not been very good. And Colorado and Utah as well are more geographically correct for the Big 12. And if they went out and sort of intermixed a few of those Pac-12 schools that they may try to talk into joining the Big 12, it could be a pretty special thing, especially for like Utah. If BYU were to come over as well, you'd have Utah and BYU as a conference game, and that would open Utah up and BYU for better scheduling opportunities. Now, is it a long shot? Sure. But, like I said, there have been rumblings there, so you never know what the mindset is of said university. So go out and talk to the Arizona schools. They say no, talk to Colorado and Utah. They say no, you didn't lose anything. But all it's going to take is just one. And I think they could get one. Either Colorado or Utah. Specifically, I think they could get one of those 2 schools to jump ship and take a chance and come back to the Big 12. If they were to do that, they could then intermix the best of the non-Power 5 schools. You add Colorado and Utah to your conference possibly, and then you add BYU, Boise, Cincinnati, and Houston. You got a pretty good deal there. That's pretty attractive, to me, a pretty attractive TV deal possibly. A lot more attractive than watching UCLA play Hawaii in front of 3,000 people. On Kurtz's podcast, he had a sky cam up here, and he was looking down, and it was like the announced attendance was 39,000. I'm like, man, that sky cam, was that picture taken after the game? After everybody done left? No, that Skycam picture was taken in the first quarter. Unless the fans got bored and left after the kickoff, has some pretty much fudging. And see, that's the problem with the Pac-12, is all the fudging that's going on and all the lies that they're telling to each other. If UCLA and Hawaii can only draw 3,000 or 4,000 people, I don't care what your excuse is, whether it's students, COVID, stricter COVID measures, lack of competition with the opponent. It's all horse shit, because I guarantee you, if Hawaii had went and played, it ain't got to be a traditional powerhouse from the SEC. If Hawaii had went and played South Carolina in week 0, which is a dumb way to call that week to begin with. It should be week 1, but that's some of that dumbass shit that ESPN does. But if UCLA had played, or not UCLA, if Hawaii had played South Carolina last week, there would have been at least 30 or 40,000, maybe even 50,000 people in the stands at South Carolina, and it wouldn't have been fudging. It would have been actual 50,000. So the Pac-12 and their little alliance may not be as protected as they think. No, the other two conferences can't raid you. You're worried about the Big Ten maybe engulfing some of your better teams, but what about the other teams, the teams that's not on the left coast? Those teams that aren't happy, they might listen to the Big 12. You didn't really take that into account, now did you? Oh, we got the ACC and the Big 10 on our side. Well, you ain't got the SEC or the Big 12 on your side. The SEC, they're probably not going to go after any of your teams, because geographically speaking, it'd be a nightmare as far as scheduling logistics. But the Big 12, yeah, they could go after some teams in your conference that would geographically fit. And that's all I got to say about that. You guys and gals, tell me what you think. You think it's a long shot that they shouldn't even broach? Or do you think they should at least go and talk to them? Or do you think the Big 12 should just concentrate on getting the best non-Power 5? Drop it in the comments section. Let me know how you feel about all this. Because I think it would be ironic if the worm turned and the Pac-12 was suddenly in dire straits to keep their conference alive. And with that, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.